Hello everyone, I'm Diana and welcome back to Base for our second episode. Who have we got?
We have a slightly different setup today. We are physically missing one piece to our puzzle, and that is our right-hand man. Insert him here.
He's like there.
My other half, Sebastian, aka Australian strength coach. He's on the other side of the world in Columbus, Ohio with our very, very special guest. So we are going to be Skyping him in today. Hey, Bass.
Hey, girl.
Hi.
Hello, we miss you.
I miss you.
It's been like 3 days.
Can you guys
Been like
guess
4.
who he's with? All right, we are sure you guessed it. It is our champion friend and Bass's strongest athlete, the one and only Thor Bjornsson. Welcome to the show, Thor.
Thank you so much, guys. It's such an honor to be your second guest.
No, you're our first guest.
You're our first guest.
So, wow, I'm so honored and I'm so happy.
Oh, we wouldn't
Thank
have it any
you.
other way. Seriously, we are so excited. Firstly, we want to say the biggest congratulations to you for winning the Arnold and for Bass, of course, for coaching you. Great work, guys. You did it.
So good, so exciting.
Congrats, Thor. Thank you, guys.
Congrats,
and
Thor.
to you. Thank you.
And of course, we need to say a big congratulations to the amazing woman behind the big man, or right next to the big man, his beautiful wife, and my close friend, you guys, Kelsey. That is so cute.
Stop.
Congrats, Kels. They just kissed. Get a room, guys. Oh, that is so cute.
Hi.
So good to see you on here too. Thanks for joining us, guys. I know it's quite late for you, so anyway, we'll be fine. We're so sad that we couldn't be there with you guys.
Well, the
Aw.
last episode we concluded by saying that we were going to come to Ohio. But
Yeah.
like literally 3 hours before we were about to hop on that flight, they announced that the Arnolds were cancelled. Well, at least that there was no spectators. But they kept going back and forth. They were saying spectators could watch and then they were saying they couldn't. So we were devastated, but we obviously had to send Bass. So he took one for the team. He's there. But we're so sad that we couldn't be there with you guys.
So here we are, Base Body Babes in Sydney, Australia, and you guys, Sebastian, Thor, Kelsey, and Team Iceland are in Ohio.
Team Iceland.
Yeah.
Team Thor.
Well, although I'm on the other side of the world, I did not want to miss the opportunity to have definitely my number one athlete, a huge influence in where I am today in my career. 2016, I met Thor. Since then, we've been working together and my life has changed so much. It just wouldn't feel right to have any other guests on our first episode. So although we're apart, I just didn't want to miss this opportunity. I would have preferred that it was face-to-face, but we're just going to make do with what we've got, and we're here Skyping you guys, so we're going to make it work.
So good.
Yeah, this is working out really, really well. So why didn't you guys fill us in on everything that we've missed? How did the comp play out over the last 2 days?
Well, let's go straight to the spoiler alert.
Spoiler
Thor
alert.
won
Woohoo!
in a row. Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats, Thor.
It was a great contest overall. I had some good fight against Martin Shilkowski. He came in ready. He came in strong. He actually won 4 events out of 6. That's pretty impressive.
It was very impressive.
But what took him down was his deadlift. What made me the champion was how consistent I was throughout the competition. The lowest place I could place was 4th. Then it was just like 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. So being consistent in this sport and having no weaknesses is the key to be the champ. And to be honest, I feel like I don't have any weaknesses, and that's why I've been able to win so many shows back to back.
It's amazing.
I absolutely agree
So
with that.
amazing. Thor, were you going into this competition, were you confident that you were going to win?
You know what? Yes, I was confident, and I want to say that's something that builds with experience. I've been competing now for a decade in
Crazy.
my sport, and every year that passes, I feel like I get more confident. And then what helps as well is the team I have behind me. I know that I have the best coach in the world. I have the best nutrition coach. I have the best rider. I have such an amazing support system that gives me the extra extra, kick in the knee that, I just believe that there's no way I can lose. And, the preparation went so well. I prepped for this contest. I started 17 weeks out, and we just made sure that, I trained everything super well. We made sure I trained the sheer tempo twice a week for 17 weeks. And, I just had no weaknesses. I just came in ready. I performed the way I usually perform, and I won.
Yeah, so the way that I see it, Thor keeps saying 17 weeks preparation. He's got a pretty good base to start with, as we all know. Like, he's a really strong guy. He's a very well-rounded athlete. But yeah, 17 weeks is when we're given notice of the events that we actually have. In this competition, it was 6 events, and that was deadlift. We all know that that's, right now, Thor's absolutely the best deadlifter on the planet. There is no question. So that's his event, and we knew that was going to be his event, but we had a lot of incentive to really, really work his strengths with that. So that really always takes priority in your programming. But something that was unusual about this one that I saw from the coach's perspective is one of the events, as you said, the sear dumbbell. The dumbbell weight was a world record, and that's what they expected the athletes to be able to achieve, was world record, which was absolutely crazy. Just so you know, the world record at the time, I think it's 145 kilograms that was just set for the sear dumbbell. Mm-hmm. And anyway, so they expect these athletes, the Arnold is the strongest, it's known as the heaviest of the strongman competitions in the world, out of all of the major competitions. So we've got world's strongest man, Europe's strongest man. The Arnold is the one with the heaviest event. So the ones that stood out to me was deadlift, let's prioritize the hell out of that. Sear dumbbell, let's prioritize the hell out of that. So something that I noticed with when I saw Hafthor getting off the airplane was actually his shoulders looked about this wide.
Crazy.
Every time I see it, it's like I can't believe my eyes. I can't believe how big this guy actually is. So, you guys have seen all the photos of us together, and I look puny.
Kelsey looks very puny.
The whole world has seen the memes of you guys. I'm not going to get into how the memes go, but
every time we've Skyped and we've just all FaceTimed and I've seen Thor and his head's just so big and his shoulders are so big. It's like, okay, you're ready. You are ready.
So the sear dumbbell was that was kind of a new event. Like, we've never really trained that way for your upper body as much.
Yeah, it hasn't been in any of my contests now for a while. So I haven't trained it in a few years. So that's, it's a very technical event. I feel like, I have the strength, I have the, strict power. I just had to really focus on that event to get the technique right and just get comfortable with that heavy weight,
I'm going to go straight to the end of the show. That's the event that you pitched the show on. That was the last event, and man, I posted it on social media. You can hear my reaction behind the scenes watching it on television. We came in with a plan, and that was just to win the event, to win the Arnold. He was the last man to go, so we knew exactly what he needed to do to win the show, and that was to press 280 pounds, and that's all he needed to do. So, of course, I'm always nervous. I'm always confident. I know how strong and able Thor is, but something about me, I'm always nervous. I'm just that kind of guy. And anyway, he came in, picked up the 280 kilo dumbbell, and he won the Arnold.
Insane.
And we thought, okay, that's it. Then he proceeds to the next dumbbell, which of course he didn't need to do, which was 300 pounds. I don't know what that is in kilograms.
That's 136 kilograms.
136 kilograms, and only two of the other athletes had done that. So he picked it up, no problem. He was just being a show. So after he did the 300 pounds, he'd won it. We knew he'd won it. He could have walked off with his head high and his arms up in the air, and then he points to the biggest one on the stage, which no one had done. It's like, what the f*** going on? And he picked it up with ease, and he was in control of this. Long story short, he missed it just by the lockout. We all thought he was going to get it. And what was really cool about this event is we were backstage, and the other competitors and their coaches were cheering Thor on. Like, they were so excited by this whole
How
thing.
good.
It was just a sick way to finish the show. It was so cool.
Kelsey, how did you feel? I bet you're so happy that this is one comp down for the year.
Yeah, I feel relieved now.
Yes.
At this event, I was shaking. I was
Yeah.
on stage shaking.
Oh, I feel you.
It won, but now he's up there making a statement.
So how many different events are there?
6.
And what are...
So the first event that we started with was a new event called Trial by Stone.
Mm-hmm.
That's 5 stones total.
Mm-hmm.
We have to press 2 stones overhead. Then there's 2 stones that have to load up to a platform. Then we run to the Husfeld stone replica that the Rogue Fitness made, and we have to run with that 15 meters. It's a timed event. We have to, like, the fastest time that's able to finish all the 5 stones wins. Martin Kirkowski won that event. I placed second. The next event was a back-door bar event that I'm super good at.
Mm-hmm.
Best in the world.
Best in the world. I won that event, got 10 points. Third event of that day was the Wheel of Pain.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds horrible.
I came third in that event. That's a massive equipment that Rogue Fitness, one of my sponsors, made for this show. It's just incredible.
Wow.
The most unique, beautiful equipment that Strongman has ever seen is awesome for sure.
How
it's awesome.
good.
Day 2,
that was
That's
day one.
Yep.
We finished day 1 in second place by half a point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now we go to day 2.
Day 2, we start with the elephant bar deadlift.
Yes.
And I won that event.
Amazing.
I won it with...
For sure, we should talk about that.
I won it with a little bit over 1,000 pounds pull. I only needed to do 2 pulls to win that event. So that was actually super convenient for me, because I was able to not spend as much energy like the other guys that were maybe they had to do 3 lifts, went to failure. And when you go to failure, this is on the bass. Make sure that I never do in training, because you want to leave the failure to the competition. Because failing, even in competition, is going to fatigue you so much more. You never really want to fail, because that's going to
Not if you don't have to.
Not if you don't have to, because that's going to make you like hit the wall. At least in my opinion, and I think you agree with me.
Absolutely.
The next event after that was the frame carry up a ramp.
Mm-hmm.
New frames, a new ramp, 2 frames, brand new wooden frames that Rogue Fitness had made for this competition, and a brand new 2 ramps that we actually have to run with these beautiful
400 kilogram frames.
Yep, up a ramp that is roughly, if I remember right, 9 meters.
Right.
Yeah.
Something like that, 9 meters. Fastest time swing. Actually, that was my poorest performance of the whole competition. I placed 4th there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The last event,
Yep.
the Shirknable.
So after that, so let's go back to the deadlift. You won that by a mile.
Yeah.
Right.
And that put him in such a lead that even though he came 4th in the frame, he came into the last show first place by 3.5 points.
Wow.
Which is why we knew all we needed to do was come 4th in that whole event to win the whole show.
Right.
So that was the dumbbell.
Yeah. So I was going in the dumbbell with 3.5 points leads, which is super, super good in my opinion. Because I don't have weaknesses in this sport. I can always place, in my opinion, like top 3. The worst thing is like, I don't know, 4th.
If there's a mistake made.
If there's a mistake made,
Mm-hmm.
So I felt super comfortable, and I knew that I had worked super, super hard on the shoulder dumbbell. I actually had a made 150 kilogram dumbbell I had a friend of mine make that so I could train with that in my own gym.
Right.
Just like a replica of exactly the shirt number. So I got that. I trained with it a couple of times, but it actually came out to weigh 146 kilograms.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't able to lock that out in training, but I was able to like clean it a couple of times. I gave it a few tries. It's just like it's something with the dumbbell. You have it here up. It's like it's the tricep power that usually like fills me, like the and just the lockout, But I was very comfortable going to that. Played second, won the show.
Amazing.
Insane. So which one was your favorite event?
Probably that, the shirt temple.
Yeah,
right. I don't know. Like,
You love a challenge.
Yeah. I just like why that event. It was just like the attempt with the 330-pound dumbbell was just like.
So that's 150 kilograms.
It was just so amazing to me. Like even though I felt the dumbbell, I was so happy because I was so close.
Yeah, right.
I'll tell you what, especially happy. It's an event that Kilias Koski actually holds the world record for, but it's nothing really that you've actually trained to attempt the world record ever.
Yeah.
And actually, it's the first time we focused on it. And Kilias Koski got the 320. You didn't even attempt the 320, but I think you'd have got it.
Yeah.
You were that close with the 330. It was all about the showmanship at the end and putting on a good performance. So you just skipped the 320. You didn't want to draw with Kilias Koski. Straight to the biggest one. And something that I love about that is a lot of the times in strongman competition, they choose events that none of the athletes have really done before. And it's like, okay, well, we don't know how good we're going to do, so we train the hell out of it. And he ends up top two always, or even first place with new events, which just goes to show when everyone has the same amount of time to train for the same event, Thor wins. Thor's the strongest man in the world currently.
You are.
Yes, you are.
That was definitely my favourite as well, the sheer dumbbell.
We just want to ask one more question. Which one were you the most nervous for leading up into comp?
Probably to be honest, probably the trial by stone because it was a new event. It was the first event, and the stones were kind of awkward. They were small. It's super easy to make a mistake with those stones. So I was quite nervous going into that event because I had like no idea how it would perform or even if I would make any mistakes. I kind of like going into that event, I decided to take my time with the first natural stones. So I went into that. I made sure to take, good time with them and walk it out. I was able to finish them both without doing any mistakes. And then I finished the rest of the course, good. And I was happy with my performance. Placed second, right behind Mati Shvikovsky. But yeah, that was for sure, for me, the most nervous.
Okay.
So with that performance, you were third, which isn't always the best. It's always the best to be later on or the last lifter. So you can see what all of the other athletes do. And that's the advantage that Kilias Koski had. Thor was the only other lifter to actually finish it. And he was the first lifter to finish all of the stones. And Kilias Koski was able to learn from the way that Thor did it and see exactly how fast he needed to move.
Yeah, right.
If the tables had turned and Thor was able to see how Kilias Koski moved, it always happens. Thor was able to perform and do what he needs to do to get the job done. Being the first, the instructions, I was screaming it out as well. Take your time, take your time. And it was a good game plan, and I wouldn't have changed it anyway.
No, either.
And on that note of game plan, did it all go to plan? Like, how were you guys feeling while you were in it? Bass, you're the coach.
I'll tell you, the first disaster that didn't go to plan was that they cancelled the entire show.
Yes.
Right.
So that drained a lot of energy. Every hour, these guys are receiving updates of whether the show's on or not.
Yeah.
The
So
anxiety.
much uncertainty.
He's trying to just focus on the show, and then he's given news that it might not even be on. Then it's on, but his family's not allowed to watch, or now they are, and that's probably the most it caused the most anxiety out of everything else. But you guys talk about nerves and everything with Thor, and I know it's better for him to speak on his own behalf, but from what I see, he comes in ready, and that takes away so much anxiety. We trained every event really, really well, and it just goes a long way with confidence through the whole show.
Being prepared, hey?
I have to agree with you on that, Bass. That was for sure nerve-wracking. Especially because I had 18 people with me, and I don't want to disappoint them. They already came all this way from Iceland, you from Australia, and my whole rain team as well. There's a lot of people here coming to support me, so a lot of pressure on you. A lot of pressure. I didn't want to let them down. Of course, I didn't want them to stay at the hotel and watch the show here. So it was definitely was nerve-wracking.
Obviously, having an amazing support system is an important part of your success. You always have your beautiful wife by your side helping you everywhere you go. I am lucky enough to be such a close friend of Kelsey, and I see how amazing she is with you. She's the best wifey, and I claim to be the best wife as well. So we are both great wives.
You're just pumping my tires.
No, you're amazing. You are amazing. So can you just tell us who came from Iceland? Who didn't we see? Your mum, your dad? Which Team Iceland members came?
Yeah, so my mom and dad came. My grandfather, grandma, my older sister, her fiance, my sister's son, and then
boys.
like a lot of guys from the gym.
Boys, yeah.
Good friends. All of the best. Guys, Andre Ray, him, he's a great guy with me.
That's amazing.
He was the one that came to World Strongman back in 2011, my first competition, and almost been to every single contest since then. Imagine that.
You have the biggest supporters. Not only are you just so popular and your fans adore you, but your family and friends absolutely adore you. And it's so nice to always see them there supporting you. It always warms my heart. It's so lovely.
So cute.
I think there's 17 people.
17,
wow.
I'm super grateful.
And they are the loudest cheer squad I have ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Peter.
Oh, he's the best. He's so good.
And your grandparents. Thor, your grandparents are so loud. They are the best. I loved watching them.
You can see why you are the man that you are. You just have so much passion from the Icelandic people. It's so good to watch.
Right.
So can you just tell us, so in the end, spectators were allowed to watch? And did it affect your performance at all, or you were just ready to go?
Honestly, I was told that only coaches and family members were allowed, but then
there was a lot of athletes. All of the sporting events were still going. So there were a lot of athletes in the area, and I'm pretty sure it was all athletes.
Was it only athletes? Yeah,
but I think some of the other athletes' family and
their
friends
family
as well.
and friends were there too.
So there would have been maybe 1,000 people in the entire stadium.
Yeah.
So there was still a crowd.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was better than what we were expecting,
right?
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay, so why don't we talk about what's next for you? So is that the first competition for the year down for 2020?
That's the first competition of the year.
What have we got coming up?
First place. Next coming up for me is another competition in 5 weeks.
Wow.
The World Ultimate Strongman in Bahrain, 11th of April. So I'll go home now. I'll start my preparation. I'm going to be messing my coach. Where's my program? Oh, send it now. I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing him.
He's always ready for you, Thor. He's more ready for you than he is ready for me at all times.
No, you're lying. Anyways, so that's a huge competition, and I'm gonna deadlift 501 kilograms.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, with a deadlift bar, in a suit, deadlift suit, figure eight straps. So I'm excited. I'm ready. You know.
So that's
That is
WUS.
awesome.
WUS. And then after that, we go
So I think I should just give a little bit of perspective for this. A lot of talk has gone behind this 501 kilogram deadlift. Actually, at this show, the Arnold's, and a lot of people are asking. It's funny. A lot of people understand there is a difference between the deadlift bar. There's different circumstances where you can use a suit and different straps, and there's multiple different world records. And there was an actual prize money of $101,000 to deadlift 501 kilograms at this event. But the circumstances were extremely different at this Arnold's. And the main determining factor, the reason why we didn't attempt a 501 kilograms deadlift now is because it was on the second day. The first day, there were 3 really, really challenging and fatiguing events. So he came to attempt 501 kilograms in a fatigued state. And it was our decision not to risk injury, especially when there is an even bigger deadlift goal, and that is to achieve the ultimate world record. The current world record is 500 kilograms on a deadlift bar. So we don't want any black asterisks above our name saying, yeah, we did 501, but it was on an elephant bar. We're going to compare apples with apples under the same rules, the same circumstances, with the same equipment, and we're going to once and for all break that record and show that Thor is the best deadlifter on the planet.
Cannot wait to see it.
So excited to watch that. Bass, what's your plan with Thor's programming over the next 5 weeks?
So it's pretty crazy, but he gets home this Wednesday back in Iceland, and we've discussed whether or not he's going to get into the gym the first day that he gets back home. It's not going to be anything heavy. It's not like we're so hardcore that we beat him up straight away. It's just generally reintroducing his body. He does need a little bit of rest, even though he's feeling great. There's no injuries, which is best case scenario. He still performed really, really amazingly, and that does take its toll on the body.
So
initially,
we're going to give him a little deload week, hey?
Absolutely, we're going to start with the deload, which is what I recommend for everyone who comes out of competition. Mm-hmm. Don't come back and go, all guns blazing. Yeah. You've got to give your body a rest. He's still human, even though a lot of people think he's not. So we come in with a small deload, and then we're gradually going to relearn how to use the deadlift suit, because that's really important. He's been doing the rules for the elephant bar at the Arnold's is raw, so no deadlift. So even though the deadlift suit helps, it's a technique involved. So we're going to relearn that technique gradually. So his best deadlifting competition leading up to the Arnold's was 480 kilograms without a suit. And his body is already strong enough, so I don't need to beat his body up even more to be able to achieve the 501. I believe he's strong enough to achieve the 501, so it's now just conditioning his body how to peak on the day in 5 weeks' time. But it doesn't end there. There's 4 more events. And those events, he's got to train for those as well. So
what are they for?
Log lifting,
log lifts, farmer's walks, dumbbell, atlas stones, and that's the 5 events.
You're amazing at all of those events.
Yeah, so those are the events for WS. Those are the 5 events. He's very much ready to compete now. So the next 5 weeks isn't necessarily about beating his body up too much. It's just about relearning the skills of the new event. And he's strong enough to step into competition right now. So the next few weeks of training is going to be pretty easy, I'd say.
So what are your goals moving forward, Thor? Obviously WUS, that's 501 is a massive goal.
Yes. World's Ultimate Strongman, the 501 kilogram deadlift, those, winning the title, the World's Ultimate Strongman is, I want to say goal number 2. The 501 right now is goal number 1. That's goal number 1.
It's a good goal.
These 2 are my main goals right now. And then later on in the year, I have coming up World's Strongest Man. I'll be lying if I would be sitting here saying that that's not my goal to win that again.
Yes.
And then just getting better overall as an athlete and as a person.
Yeah, you're an amazing person and an amazing athlete, and you never cease to stop amazing the world with your talent. It's crazy. Okay, so we're just going to rewind a little bit and go all the way back to when we first met. We've spoken about this on our side, for our side of the story, a million times to our audience, but we'd love to hear your side of the story about how we met, or how you met Bass.
All right. Yeah, definitely. I remember. Oh, it was a very memorable moment for me. I was in Australia, Sydney, filming for SodaStream, and they want to promote their brand more, so they want to reach out to influencers. They were talking about these super hot chicks, face 40 babes. Some guy there, super good coach, Sebastian Erb. Who's that guy? Okay. And he wants to hold the seminar with you there, in his gym.
He bypassed the hot chicks and went straight to the coach.
I was like, so anyway, long story short, I come up, we do the seminar. Bass impresses me, just the way he talks, the way he coaches and teaches the movements of the lifts. I was actually able to do a PR that day in bench press. And I was just impressed. I was just like, wow, this guy here can actually improve my static strength a lot. And I honestly believed that. I was just like, if I want to improve my game, I'm already here. I've been I'm this close to winning the World Series. I'm this close to winning the biggest shows. I just believe, if I'm gonna be the best, I need to up my game. I need to get myself a coach that I believe in. So while all this was happening, you were just talking. I was just sitting there impressed. Wow, this guy's just actually talking. while he was just talking, and just the more impressed I got, I just decided, fuck it, I'm just going to ask the guy, you want to be my coach?
That was the best day. I remember it so clearly. I was crying. I was just so happy for Bass.
How did you feel, Bass?
Well, I not in a million years would I believe that would happen.
No way.
When you told me, so you're the one that told me that he was coming in.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what, because they didn't come to me. SodaStream came to the girls with the influence, not the pleb guy, bullhead that's lifting weights. So I said to you, get me in that room, because I just wanted to meet this guy. Not because of Mountain from Game of Thrones, but because I knew he was the strongest man on the planet. And he was a beast. And it's like, I want to meet this guy. Get me in there.
Yeah.
And then for him to ask me to be his coach, it was just no way in a million years.
It was like a dream.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a dream. It was just bullshit. It wasn't even close to enter a dream. And when he asked me, I just thought, okay, how do you do this? I still need to sell myself, even though I was sold. He asked me to be his coach. And I thought, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not going to bullshit and pretend that, I'll see if I have time. I'll see if I can pitch in. I just said, you know what? Have Thor, man. This is the best opportunity in my career ever. And I'll do anything to take that role, man.
And look where we are.
And he said, would you travel overseas? And I'm like, yes. Yes. And that was it. That was the starting point for me. I was like, okay, he's actually willing to put in the work. He's willing to coach me and travel the world, be there by my side. So I was like, yeah.
But we would have never have thought that we would be here straight away as soon as you asked him. I think it was in June 2016. You were like, okay, first competition, come to the UK, and then you flew over there. Now we spend a couple of months. 2 to 3 months of the year traveling for you and with you, and it's amazing. And we never would have thought that our life would have become this, but now we're all friends and family, and it's just beautiful.
It's definitely been a huge life changer for me. And a lot of people talk about with success that you have to plan. And that's the funny thing. With me, I would have never have planned for this in a million years.
You couldn't.
So it's completely unexpected, completely unplanned for, and what a complete change of lifestyle that we've all had. Like you said, a few months of every year since 2016, we've been traveling. The main place that we've traveled to is Iceland. I hang out here and I'm so happy. I've left my family at home, but I've come over here to my Icelandic family, and I just see everyone that I've just love and know for years that we've just been able to spend so much time with. And it's such a nice trip to see my Icelandic family. I just love it. And
I know you feel
like
at home.
I said, I do feel at home with these guys, and it's just something that I would never have planned for in a million years. And yeah, couldn't be happier that it actually happened.
Yeah, no, it's an
awesome.
amazing experience. As always, Thor, we're so grateful for the opportunities you've given us over the years, and we've just had so much fun along the way.
We just need to get you back here.
Yeah.
Thor, it's been way too long.
Like 4 years later, he still hasn't come over
I
here.
actually cannot think it. The last time I went to Sydney, Australia, was when I saw you.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's
When I
right.
met you.
That's crazy.
I know.
What's it going to take to get you back here?
Those business class, first class seats aren't even big enough for
You know
him.
what, guys? Now she has been talking a lot about vacation.
I know. I'm
Maybe we
trying
go-
to get her to come here. I know, but it is far and it's hard.
But
It's hard.
even in a business, like I've seen this guy curled up in a business class seat, and it's big enough for him.
It's not.
To be on that flight, it's like a whole day in the air. It's over 24 hours in the air in a little seat like that. I do understand, but I do understand that we're going to get you back there soon, man.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
definitely.
You know we will always come to you, Thor. You're worth it.
Thor, we have another question for you. Let's talk about the mindset of a champion. Can you share with us what goes through your mind before stepping on the world stage to compete?
Before I compete, it's everything that happens before, I'm so obsessed with, perfection, making sure everything is dialed in, making sure I eat my 6 meals a day, making sure that, I do my recovery work, get my training in. The easiest part is actually the training. It's actually funny to say that, but that's the easiest part. But, my mindset works like that. The more I win, the better I get, the more focused I get. I don't know, it's hard to describe, It's just like, for me, I don't think you can teach people to be inspired to
Work hard.
become successful. Either you are that type of person or not. I'm a very driven person. As an athlete, I love working hard. I love being focused, consistent, and that's just the way I am,
From my perspective, when it comes to mindset of a champion, I know, because I'm an educator as well, I hold seminars, and I know that it's a really important topic for a lot of people. A lot of people need to work on their own mindset, and I know that whenever I talk about the topic of mindset, people love to listen to it. But even though I've been in the presence of literally the best in the world, it's something that I also need to get my head around as well, because I'm an athlete at a pretty high level, definitely not as high as yours. And I know that self-doubt comes into it a lot. And I've learned a lot from working with you, but I still, like you said, you've either got it or you don't. And I know that there's a quality that you have that I'm continually that I look up to a lot. And that is your self-belief. A lot of the things that you do, like I've spent a whole day eating with you, and you said to me after that, are you going to continue eating like this? And I said, no, I can't keep this up. And you said, do you think you'd be stronger if you did? And I said, of course I would. It's like, well, why don't you do it? And that's part of it, the dedication that is involved in being a champion. Being willing to put in the work. It's like, that's a smack in the face for me. It's like, Dan, you're a lazy bastard. You're just not willing to put in the effort that it takes to be the champion.
Well, compared to Thor, like everyone seems like lazy or not. Thor, I always say, you are literally the hardest worker I've ever seen. Like what you just do not complain. You'll never miss a
It's
session.
not just in the gym. Like you said, the gym is where the easy work is done, and we see it: the sleep, the recovery, the
food.
nutrition. The commitment to greatness involves, saying no to going out and partying and doing all of those things that a lot of young guys and girls would love to be doing. But the dedication is a huge factor to the mindset. And like you said, you either got it or you don't.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's something that you just learn from a young age, and then you just build it and get better and better as an athlete, I guess. Probably what I use mostly as a motivation is, every single day, I think about my competitors. I think I'm doing this, and I bet they're not doing this. So I'm going to do more of this. I'm going to do 1% that they will not do. I'm going to make sure that I go to bed before they do. I'm going to make sure that I get my 8 hours sleep every single night. I'm going to make sure that I eat my 6 meals every single day. I'm going to make sure that I train smarter and better than them. And I'm going to make sure that, everything just dialed in. I get my Graston done, for those that, know me, know that I like Graston. It's not like a massage, it's like a... What do you say? Scraping. It's like scraping, It forces the blood to the area, and for me, it works very well. It helps my body to stay injury-free.
Hot, cold.
I work for these things, and I'm always trying to find ways to get even better. I'm always trying to find that small adds. I even sometimes change my diet a tiny bit. For example, for this prep, I start to eat. I'm a huge believer in good nutrition, a well-balanced diet. I follow the vertical diet, but I decided to add in 1 to 2 tomatoes every single morning in this preparation, white tomatoes, and I decided to add 1 banana. And this is just like a small detail that adds into my diet, Why? Because I'm thinking about the nutrition fact that comes from those fruits or whatever, eating them. And I'm just so big believer in, if I just get a little bit more of that nutrition, I'll get maybe 1 or 2% more stronger. So I'm going to do that.
I love your attention to detail, Thor. That's amazing.
Something I guess it's a really great take-home point for the people that are listening is the evolution of the highest level of athleticism in the world. Gone are the days where it's all about working harder. Obviously, we know we have to work hard to an extent, but some of the words that we're listening to Hafthor talk about is working smarter. Mm-hmm. Back in the days, we heard guys like Mike Tyson talk about if his competitors are waking up at 6 or at 5, he's going to wake up an hour earlier. We're not talking about that. We're talking about making sure he's getting the 8 hours of sleep. So it's not always just about working harder. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger, while we're here at the Arnolds, I'll talk about him. It's a pretty funny quote. He talks about if you want to sleep more, or if you think you need more sleep, sleep faster, or something like that. It's all along the lines of the success tips of the olden days, of work more, rest less, to be better. And actually, that's not actually how it is. So something that we know in the flesh from the current strongest man in the planet, it's not just about beating yourself to the ground. He works as hard as anyone that I know, but he's very intelligent with his approach. Recovery, nutrition plays a huge factor. As he said, the training is the easy part. And I can see it firsthand. To be able to eat the way that he eats, it's a full-time job. To be able to think about your recovery and all of these things, it's food for thought for the people out there that think it's just about working your butt off to achieve the greatness that someone like Hafthor has achieved.
It's amazing.
Insane.
Okay, Kelsey and Thor, we just want to ask you guys a few couples questions. Are you ready? How tall are you both?
I'm 6'9", 205 centimeters.
Whoa.
And I'm 5'2", and I have no idea what that is in centimeters.
Neither do I. I think it's like 156 because
That's
we're the
us.
same.
We're 5'2".
Kelsey's like similar height to us.
Okay. What shoe size do you both have?
16 USA, and that's like 15 and a half in Europe.
It's crazy.
And I'm
That's
6.
insane. And you're a 6?
Kelsey's a 6
Are you
like
a
us.
6 like us?
They're like tiny little shoes.
Who's got the biggest shoe collection?
That's hard to answer. I don't know. I probably me because he just got rid of a bunch of shoes.
So you've got
me.
more.
Right.
But Thors take up the most space.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Who spoons who more in bed?
100% I'm the big spoon.
So you spoon him.
So that means
So you're like,
or like,
That is funny image.
or that way.
so you spoon him. Leg over his big hips.
Chelsea's big.
Wow. Okay. One more. I know the answer for this one. Who's grumpier in the morning? Yes. Kelsey is the worst. We've stayed with you guys. She's the worst in the morning. She hates being woken up. And Thor, you're like the happiest person in the morning.
I'm so happy in the morning.
I know. You're the best. You are.
The evening.
Oh.
I get good.
Okay, on that note, it's bedtime for you guys. We need to wrap this up. Thank you so much for chatting with us. It's been an absolute blast, as always. We can't wait to be back all together soon at World's Strongest Man in Florida. We can't wait to see you all. And now, Sebastian, you can come home now. We miss you.
I'll be home. I'm leaving tomorrow, but because Australia is the furthest away from every country, it's going to be the day after that.
Yeah.
So I'll see you today.
Yay!
Thank you so much for having us, guys. It was awesome.
Thanks, guys. We love you. Mwah. Keep up the great work.
And for those listening, the Back to Base podcast, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.